Most hardworking men, they don't stay broke because they're lazy. They stay broke because they're trapped in survival mode, and nobody ever taught them how to get out. If you give me the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact shift in system that helped me go from financial stress and self-doubt to stability, confidence, and leadership as a man. But if you don't fix this, here's what happens. You work harder, but you feel further behind. You may earn money, but you will never feel peace. And deep down inside, you start questioning yourself as a man. Now, this isn't about budgeting better. This is about becoming someone who no longer lives in survival mode. I know what it's like to wake up already tired, with bills on your mind. You got this responsibility on your shoulder, and then there's this quiet fear that says, I should be further by now. I'm sure some of you can relate. I was working hard. I was supplying all my home needs. I was showing up, but I was still stressed. And there's this old saying that basically says, I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, but I still felt like I was one emergency could basically knock everything down. And what hurt the most wasn't the money. It was the feeling that all my effort, it wasn't translated into progress. That's when I realized something most men never do. And this is important because what I personally discovered wasn't about working harder, or it wasn't about budgeting better. And if you've watched my videos, you know I'm all about budgeting, but it wasn't about budgeting better. It was about why hardworking men stay stuck in the first place. So here's the reality. Survival mode, it isn't a money problem. It's in an identity stage. All right. Survival mode is an identity stage. There are 3 stages of money. There's survival, there's stability, and there's growth. Most men, they never leave stage 1. And it's not because they can't, but it's their habits. Their thinking and their systems are only built to survive. In survival mode, just like everything else, survival mode has rules. There's short-term thinking, there's reactive decisions, there's no margin, and there's no leverage. All right? You don't escape that by motivation. You escape it by changing how you operate. All right? I'm going to show you how. But this is what I would tell you. This is where most men get it wrong, because they try to fix their money before they fix their identity. And I can tell you that never works. All right. So step 1, you got to kill their survival identity. Let's face the facts. You will never build stability while identifying as just getting by. Survival mode trains you. It trains you to make emotional money decisions, accept chaos as normal, normalize stress. I had to stop saying this is just how life is. And I had to start asking myself, what would a stable man do? I want you to do me a favor. Write this down. I am no longer a survival man. I am a builder. That sentence changes behaviors. Once your identity shifts, the next question, it becomes practical. How do you create breathing room? Step 2, you have to understand the stability tipping point. Stability doesn't start with wealth. It doesn't. It starts with margin. For most men, the first real tipping point is 1 month of expenses saved. Or it could be 1 major debt eliminated. Why? Because your brain shifts from panic to planning. And when this happens, you stop reacting. You start thinking clearly. You make better decisions. I want you to pick one stability target. All right. Maybe it's $1,000 buffer, right? Maybe you save up $1,000 in a high yield savings account. Or maybe it's your first credit card being paid off. Maybe for you, it may be 1 month of your bills saved. I need you to do that. Don't scatter, just focus and get it done. And once you hit that tipping point, the goal is simple. Make sure you protect it. Step 3, install simple money systems. Motivation, it fades. I can tell you that. But systems, they don't fade away. Here's the survival mode escape system that I have and that I would suggest you to incorporate. A weekly 15-minute check base. In that check base, track your spending, review your balances, adjust upcoming bills. Make sure that you automate your bills, your minimum debt payments, and savings, even if it's small, even if it's $25 into your savings every time you get paid. Here's a rule. If it's not scheduled, it's not stable. Most men fail here because they rely on discipline instead of design. This isn't about perfection. It's about removing stress from your life so your family feels your presence, not your pressure. Stability is only the foundation. Leadership, it's built when a man stops only protecting his money and starts expanding his value. So here's the shift. Step 4, increase income like a leader. Survival asks, how do I cut more? Leadership asks, how do I earn more value? What does that mean? That means becoming promotion ready, building a high income skill, creating leverage, not burnout. I can tell you, I didn't escape survival by hustling harder. I escaped it by becoming more valuable. I would ask yourself this at some point this week when you're back at work. I want you to ask yourself this. What skill or responsibility would make me harder to replace? That question, I can tell you this, that question changes careers. This is usually the moment when men realize they're a work in progress. They were just never shown the path. The moment everything changes, it's not when you get rich. I can promise you that. Everything doesn't change when you get rich. It's when your bills are covered. When your bills are covered, that's when things start to change. Your emotions, things change when your emotions calm down. When your decisions become intentional. I can tell you that's when confidence comes back. That's when leadership shows up at home. That's when your family feels safe again. Stability creates clarity. And I know this is true because this is exactly what happened when I hit my first real stability milestone. When I hit my first real stability milestone, nothing flashy happened. I wasn't debt free. My life didn't magically change overnight. But what happened was I had paid off my student loan, which was $32,000 in debt. And for the first time in a long time, I could actually breathe. I wasn't panicking anymore, or every time that a bill hit because I had that money for a buffer. I wasn't living with the constant tightness in my chest. My mind finally slowed down a little bit. And when that pressure was lifted, everything else started to change also. I was able to sleep a little bit better. I spoke a little more with confidence. I stopped reacting and I started thinking a lot more. And that version of me, the calm, stable version, he actually started getting promoted. He started being respected. And he was trusted because stability, it changes how you show up as a man. That's when survival officially ended for me. That was the first click for me. And the reason I'm telling you this, it isn't to impress you. I'm not trying to impress anybody. It's to show you the exact path that made the shift possible for me. So here's the escape plan. And I can promise you, this matters. You don't escape survival mode by working hard. You escape it by changing how you operate. First, you kill their survival identity because you'll never build stability while still thinking like you're just getting by. Then you hit the stability tipping point because breathing room, it changes how you think. It changes how you decide and how you show up. Next, you install simple systems. because stability isn't built on motivation, it's built on design. And finally, you increase income through value because leadership isn't about cutting more, it's about becoming more. Do this in order and your life doesn't just improve, it stabilizes and then it grows. You weren't created to just survive. You were created to lead. In leadership, it starts when a man decides, my family will not feel my stress. They will feel my strength. If this hits you, I want you to do me a favor. Comment stability. Comment it below. And watch the next video where I break down how to increase income without sacrificing your family or peace. I want to remind you of this. You're not behind. You're just waking up. Peace.